You already know how to take the board off, but you're lacking flexibility to put it back onto your feet. Or you're already one step ahead, you know how to put it back onto your feet, but still you keep landing on your back. In this video, I will explain you how to solve these problems. We'll break the trick down and take a close look on it. By the end of this video, you know everything you need to know about the board off to learn it safely as fast as possible. Let's go. Well, let's start at the very beginning of the video with a question: what prior experiences do you need to effectively learn the board off? The jumping technique for a classic board off is the same as for a basic jump. So if you can confidently land your basic jumps and feel comfortable in the air regardless of your jumping height, you are essentially ready to try your first board offs. If you have some time and are in no rush to attempt your first board offs, I recommend incorporating one-footers and landing loops into your basic jumps beforehand. This isn't strictly necessary, but greatly enhances your overall body knowledge and prepares you even better for your first board offs. The one-footer already puts you in a situation where you control the kite with just one hand while coordinating a complex task with your feet and the board. Landing loops significantly improve your overall kite control and help with better landings. However, I go into more detail about that later in the video. Let's take a closer look in the next step at the different types of board off variants that exist and how they actually work. A board off is of course a trick that can be combined with a lot of other tricks. For example, you can combine a board off with a kite loop, creating the iconic kite loop board off. As well, you can pair it with rotations, like in this example featuring a double front rope. When looking at the board off as an isolated trick, two main variations emerge. The board off using the grab handle and the board off grabbing the fins. Both variations have their pros and cons. For most riders, it's easier to grab the board by the fins to take it off their feet. However, with this variation, many riders find it harder to put the board back on. In contrast, the board off using the grab handle has the opposite challenge. Since in my opinion, the board off grabbing the fins is the true classic, I want to focus on this variation in this video. However, you can apply all the following tips and tricks equally to any other board off variation. To perform a board off like this, I recommend starting with a moderate speed, especially in the beginning. It's crucial to execute a clean and vertical takeoff. I suggest mentally breaking the trick into 3 phases: takeoff, board off, and landing. If you're already focused on the board off before the takeoff, there's a high chance that your takeoff won't be clean. So your entire focus should first go into a clean and controlled takeoff. Once you realize you're in the air, release the bar with your back hand while keeping it fully powered with your front hand. It's essential to not give the kite any steering input, only power the bar. Next, extend your front leg and pull your back leg in. This will bring the tip of your board close to your backside, allowing you to easily grab the fins with your free back hand. The most important rule for grabbing the board effectively is that the tip of the board must come to your hand, not the other way around. You achieve this through proper leg work. The more you pull one leg in while extending the other, the closer the tip of the board will get to your hand. This makes it much easier to grab and remove the board fast. Once you've grabbed the board by the fins, pull it off both feet with a strong motion and extend your body again. At this moment, I recommend taking a quick look toward your landing, just to make sure that you have enough time to put the board back on. If you feel like you don't have enough time, you should throw the board far away and go for a safe crash. If you feel confident that you have enough time, it's time to pull both legs back up, bringing your feet to waist height in front of you and swing the board back onto your feet and put it back on. The same rule applies here, but in reverse. This time your feet must come up to the board, not the board down to your feet. Once you feel the board securely on both feet, shift your focus to the landing. Before landing, steer the kite forward with increasing speed, power the bar, and aim to land with the kite positioned at about 45 degrees.
And now in the final step, I'd like to go over the common mistakes that almost everyone makes when trying to learn the board off.
Some kite surfers prefer riding with very loose straps, while others ride with extremely tight ones. If you're someone who likes tight straps, it's important to loosen them up for board offs, so you can slide your feet in and out easily. Since board offs will now become part of your trick repertoire, I recommend you in general, learn how to ride with loose straps. One piece of feedback I often get from kite surfers that practicing the board off is, I feel like I don't have enough strength in my arm. For a safe removal and attachment of the kiteboard, especially when grabbing it by the fin, is the right swing. After removing the board, swing it forcefully to the side and slightly backward. The further away from your body you swing it, the better it will swing back to you. This makes it much easier, especially in strong winds, to bring the board back onto your feet. Now let's address the most common mistake I observe. If you think you're too inflexible to take the board off or put it back on, chances are high the issue isn't your flexibility but rather a lack of proper leg work. When removing the board, bring the tail of the board close enough to your hips with your legs so you can easily grab the fin. When putting the board back on, think the opposite way. You need to bring your feet close enough to your chest so that your arm is long enough to guide the board back onto your feet. What often helps is leaning back. Finally, let's take a look at the kite control. If you land on your back or you fall forward onto your stomach, the reason is likely that the kite drifted slightly behind you during the jump and you weren't able to steer it far enough forward for a clean landing. To fix this, the first thing you should remember is to power the bar throughout the entire jump. If you depowered the bar at any point during the board off, it becomes very difficult to land the jump at all. So tip number 1, keep the bar powered through the entire flight phase. If you kept the bar powered but still the kite drifted too far behind you and you weren't able to land it, a down loop during the landing will solve the problem.
Well, that's it from my side. I really hope the video helped and I really hope it inspired you to go out and nail your first board offs. It's a kiteboarding classic trick. I really like to do it in all kind of different variants, with a kite loop, with a basic jump, with a front roll, whatever. A board off always looks good. And yeah, if I left anything open, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out via email, in the comment section below, wherever you want. And yeah, I'll do my best to answer all your questions. Thanks for watching and I hope to see you soon for my next video. Peace! And subscribe.